Hello all, hope everybody is doing good. So welcome to the second edition of ZAP Conference, ZAPCon 2022 present by Stackhawk. I'm very honored and privileged to be part of this. Thanks for joining. So myself, Gowtham Sundar. So my title for today's session is More Power to ZAP. I hope you will all like it. A quick introduction about me. So I work as a lead security engineer at Freshworks. I'm a ZAP evangelist. I'm interested in offensive security. I'm a blogger and active learner. I've written few blogs on ZAP and how it can be used in automation in the Medium link below. You can check it out. Okay, so today's agenda is going to be ZAP introduction, and we will explore ZAP inbuilt features and ZAP power-ups. So what I mean by power-ups are the ZAP add-ons, the marketplace. I will walk you through the marketplace, and we will see some of the add-ons and quick demos how we can use them and add more power to ZAP, right? So takeaways, if you are a user of ZAP, you will understand ZAP features better, and if you are new to ZAP, you will definitely understand or know how powerful it is, what are the features it has got, and how we can utilize ZAP add-ons for your effective test and during your pen test and coverage. And this is the most important point, right? Importance of contribution to open source. So how important it is, like contributing to some of the powerful tools like ZAP, and how we can make it get better and better. And last, you can identify bugs for free using ZAP. Meaning is that if you are a bug bounty hunter or penetration tester, you don't need to rely on any other tool. You can completely rely on ZAP for doing your test. Let's dive in. So what's ZAP? Quick introduction. So it's a widely used web application proxy. It's a flagship project, and it's free and open source. The most important. It's well maintained and highly flexible. Recently, ZAP got the powerful automation framework. I believe this is going to be a game changer in the future, right? So here is the problem, or the core idea behind this stuff, right? So if you are a penetration tester or a bug bounty hunter, every day you tend to use a proxy tool, so which is a basic or a mandatory tool that everybody needs to identify vulnerabilities. So there is always a lot of comparison or a debate going over Twitter and all the community, like which tool is better over ZAP. I mean, like which tool is better over other tool, like either ZAP is better or Burp is better or any other tool for that matter. So there is a need to spend some dollars to buy a pro version to utilize its full features, and also there is a cost, user and license management involved. For example, if you are a small team and growing, there is always a license cost involved, so which again tie back to some cost. And the disclaimer is that in this talk I'm not going to do any comparison or a trade study, because each tool has got own pros and cons and strength and weakness. For example, if you are a penetration tester, you can definitely use both the Burp Suite or ZAP or any other tool for that matter. But if you are a QA or automation guy, you definitely can rely on ZAP proxy for its feature. It really works well. So that's a core idea of this talk. A solution. So I suggest before using any paid software by spending some dollars, you can always try with open source or community powered tools. Or I would rather recommend use both paid and open source based on your requirement. Understanding the requirement is the key part here. So first, identify your requirement. See whether is there any alternate open source or community tools that solve the problems. Otherwise, you can always use both to solve your problems. And most important, like avoid using cracked and pirated softwares. For example, there are some software which have pro features. So people tend to distribute cracked and pirated version of that, which again contain malwares, which can bring out a huge damage to your systems and information available. Right before we begin, I would like to give a huge credit to Simon. I know Simon. He was ZAP lead member, and all the ZAP dev and code team members and all the ZAP contributors. Because while I was preparing for this talk, I came across a lot of references and reading that really helped me create this content and present it here. So due credits to them. Okay, so the first feature that we are going to see is the automated scanner. It's I believe this is the most widely used feature of ZAP. So it is It contains two modes. One is the active scan and the passive scan mode. So active scan is like kind of an attack mode wherein you start attacking the application by generating lot of payloads and traffic to the application, identifying vulnerabilities. It also has a multi-threading support where you can control the number of threads to perform the scan. The lesser the number of threads, I believe lesser the number of false positive rate as well. Second is a passive scan, so it's non-intrusive. It's like enabled by default. You can also toggle it, and you can disable it if you want to change it. And there are custom rules via scripts. I will walk you through what are those scripts and show you some of the scripts in the next slides. And you also have a customized scan policies. And the most important, like you have alpha beta rules via add-ons, right? So again, these are every feature has got some add-on, which makes makes each feature better. So there are certain rules available. You can make the active and passive scan better. Here is a ZAP tip. So while preparing for the talk, I came across a lot of this kind of tips. So I thought it will be helpful for you as well. The tip is that you can use the add zap header.js script in order to which will add a custom zap header, which will avoid you to make the ZAP traffic getting blocked by your WAF. So often when you perform a scan, right, it generates a lot of traffic to your application, and there are high possibilities that it get blocked by WAF. So you can use this script to get whitelist that traffic. Yep. So the next thing is the web crawler. So the web crawler is we also call it as a spider. It is used to identify the URLs of the website. And again, we have two types of spiders. One is the normal spider or the default spider, and other one is the Ajax spider. So Ajax spider is kind of a browser-driven coverage. It will be like how we are manually navigation on a website. The default spider, just crawls the website using the hyperlink available as part of the pages. So it is like more controlled configuration. I mean the Ajax spider, and you have an option to export the results as CSV as well. And here is a tip. So you can combine Ajax spider with the normal spider to discover additional endpoints. So what I mean by that, when you are spidering your website, you can run the default spider first and then go for Ajax spider. And there are high chances that, you may discover additional endpoints as well. So community scripts. So this is what I mentioned in the previous slide. So you have an active and a passive rule script. So let me try to quickly show you that as well. So if you go to scripts here, and you have an active rules, set of active rule script and a passive rule script, right? So these are particularly customized script that are written for identifying certain particular vulnerabilities or certain patterns as part of your active and passive scan rules. So you can use the tools menu to import your custom scripts. For example, I have imported my custom scripts here. So it is available in the following GitHub link. So the same has been used. Right. Okay. So I know everybody might have heard of the Log4j. The last year, it was a huge, impacted vulnerability that everybody need to work on, and fixing it. It was a great overhead. So one question is, does ZAP cover it? Yes. No need to worry about it. ZAP has a active scan rule, which will help you to identify the Log4j issue. And the recent version of ZAP 2.11.1 has been passed with ZAP in Log4j, so you don't need to worry about it. So next thing is the fuzzing and content discovery, right? So fuzzer, this is also another one of the powerful features that is available in ZAP, right? So fuzzer, what I mean by fuzzer is like sending out some random data and payloads to the application and see how it behaves. And in ZAP, it is called manual fuzzing, meaning that we have to specify what we are expecting first, meaning that we need to specify how based on our needs. So ZAP doesn't automatically process payloads or process requests. So you also have a payload and message processes, so you can definitely customize each request based on your requirement. And again, as part of the add-on, you have FuzzDB and FuzzDB offensive and SVN digger files, which adds again additional support in identifying or fuzzing your request or response for the matter. And you have a content discovery. Content discovery is actually using a force bruised module, meaning that it is used to identify the files and directories available in your application. It's a fork of WASP Dilbuster project. Even though Dilbuster is not actively maintained, the fork is now actively maintained by the ZAP code team. Let me show you the quick overview of fuzzer before we get deep dive into it. So here, if you go to options, you have a fuzzer menu which show you the list of categories that are available, right? I showed you first DB is available, so you have a lot of payload and options available here as part of fuzzing. And you can also add a custom file available here, and so which time you need to finish the fuzzer UI and what time you need to try it. So what is the maximum load, what is the strategy. So there you have a lot of options available, right? So in order to choose a fuzzer, let me select a request first. So this is the localhost I'm running an application. So this is the login page. So what I can do is like I just can right click and do a fuzz, select a fuzz, right? And this I'll remove it, then it's selected. So if I want to brute force the password, I can just select it and click add. So I can go here and select a list of payloads from here. Let's say file fuzzes. I want to use fuzzDB. I want to use the word list master password, and I can select and click OK. And you also want to process how you want to process those payloads, right? So you can click here. This was a message and the payload process I mentioned in the slide, right? You can add how you want to process your payloads. So if you click base64 encode, you will see all your payloads as base64 encoder. So a lot of customization available in fuzzer, right? So you can do that as well. Quickly, okay. So vulnerability coverage, what you can do or identify using fuzzer, right? So race condition attack, XSS attack, SQL injection, brute force, and many others with the custom payloads as you wish. So obviously it's customizable, right? So here is a quick ZAP tip. You can edit the message request you fuzz via the fuzzer dialog. So what I mean by that is, right, so here is the fuzzer dialog. So what I can do is like, I can have you see a edit button here. So for example, if I selected this, I can always click edit and add another parameter. Let's say test equal to test, and you can always save and add a payload processor or a payload you want to fuzz this payload. So this is a quick tip, right? So I'll show you a quick demo of the race condition using how you can identify using the fuzzer. So I will use a application called time gap theory developed by Abhiyam Balakrishnan. You can check it out that later. So here, so before that, what are race condition attack? Race condition attack is an attack where a multiple requests are sent at the same time, and the server doesn't have any validation place accept all the requests, right? So here it's a small application where you consider there are multiple users there who have got some reward points, so they can transfer from one user to other user as well. So here if you see a Tom is one user and Jerry as another user. So if you send a reward to another user, and once you have exhausted your limit, you will get an error that your limit has been exceeded. So see, your limit, there is no enough reward to send. So how using fuzzing we can attack this application and see what happens to it. And let me quick forward it. So what I'm doing here is I am sending a reward of 100 and just capturing a request using the ZAP proxy. So I have captured the request here, right? So this is the request which is sending from Tom to Jerry, what is the amount and all that. So here you don't need to specify or choose any parameter or value. We just need to send the same request multiple times. So I'm just showing you how to denote it. I have already shown you this. So just moving on. So here I'm adding a empty or null, and with a repetition of 15. Let's say 15 requests will be simultaneously triggered, and see how what application behaves, right? So I have started the process fuzzer. So it will take some time, and if you quickly observe, let's see, a total of 4 requests has been initially sent, and as progress, we have seen 15 requests along with the origin request. So if you notice, all the requests got successful. So you go back to the application and check the total number of rewards that now Tom has. you will observe that the value is negative, meaning that the request was successful. The validation has been bypassed. So this is the classic example of a race condition attack, right? Okay. The next thing is a quick demo of file and directory emulation. How we can use fuzzer to emulate directory and files, right? So it's also pretty simple. You use a forced browse option and you can choose the menu here, and this is the configurations available. So you can also have concurrent threads maximum of 200. It is recursive. Let's say you identify a folder or a path, it again recursively identifies. This is a directory list available, and you can choose the default one. And if you want to brute force extensions, you can do that as well, right? So once you have chosen all the options, I am not selecting anything for now. This is for demo purpose. So you can also have fail case string to identify if any of the requests got failed. So I'm selecting a local host application running on local host, and you are selected. You see all the, it started to identify or discover files and folders for you, right? So, okay, it's like now getting completed. And yeah, this is how we can identify, you can choose a different payload or a different list to, discover more content. Okay, another thing is the ZAP API. This is also another important feature. So it allows you to have a programmatic interaction with ZAP. It is available in JSON, HTML, and XML formats. API scan script is also available in Docker image. So you have an open API SOAP support via an add-on. Again, right? So here comes add-on. So again, with the help of add-on, you have an open API and SOAP support. So this provides a base for various automation in CI/CD. With ZAP API, you can interact programmatically, run scans, check the results of it, whatever not. Right. So let me show you a quick demo of it. You go to options menu again, choose the API, see the list of options available. So you also have web UI enabled. You can also disable it. You have a API key to meaning that you need to have authenticated API calls. So you need to pass API tokens and send it. So these are other options available. You can disable the API key if you want. So these are the options that API provides. You can also generate and render API key. So if you go to localhost, I am running the localhost ZAP proxy in a localhost, and the port is 89890 is listening on port 9898. So if you go to UI, you will see here. So I'm just triggering a normal spider scan, providing the URL API key. As soon as I click scan, you will see the scan is triggered in the UI, and I will use the status API to visit or see what is the current status of the scan. So it's like 29%. So you can see that 29%, and also you can see the scan status. So how many scans are running, and what is the percentage, how much it is complete. So here's so how much scan progress, current, what is the current state. If you run multiple scan, you will see the multiple scans window. So that's the power of API. This is a very limited function I've shown, but there are a lot of options available. You can definitely check it out. And yep. The next we are moved to the power-ups, the ZAP add-ons. So these are again, currently we saw the inbuilt features that ZAP has got, right? So with the help of specific add-ons, how you can leverage ZAP functionality and make it much more effective, right? So before moving to add-on, let me show you Marketplace overview. Marketplace is where you will find a lot of add-ons available. So this is the icon for that, and you'll see the current one that comes pre-installed, and you have a marketplace available with so much of add-ons available, right? A huge number. Okay, what are add-ons? So add-ons provides an additional support, and they have full access to ZAP internals. So you currently have 3 status. One is the alpha, beta, and release. So alpha means it's under development. Beta is like to be tested in testing progress. Release are ready to use. They are high quality. And you also have a custom add-on. You can build your own add-on and add it to or publish it to ZAP. So one of the quick tip is like you can add and remove add-on from the ZAP without no restart. So you don't need to add or uninstall or install any add-on with the restart required. Okay, so this is the current options window. You can check for updates. You can automatically download it whenever a new patch, new add-on has been released. So this is the distribution status. Currently you have around 38 in alpha, 27 20 in release date. So around total of approximately 85 add-ons are currently available. This is excluding the help and translation files. So I believe this number will grow up, hopefully reaching more than 100 in the few months or few days. Okay, the first power up or the first add-on is the WAST. This is the most awaited add-on or the feature that people were waiting in ZAP, right? So it is used to test the out-of-band secure application security testing, so detect and exploit blind vulnerabilities. So meaning that you test an application even though your attack is successful. For example, you do a SSRF attack. It's like your attack, your attack is successful, but you need a external callback server or a WAS server. So definitely you need to process what is happening there. So this is most important in that phase. So currently 3 services are supported. One is Boast. You also have an inbuilt callback server and also a project discovery interact as such, right? So this was part of the GSOC product by Akshat. So he has developed this. This is a very cool project. Okay, so the vulnerability coverage with this is like server search request forgery, SSRF attack, out of band XXE injection attacks. You can also detect blind XSS and blind SQL injection and all other attacks that requires external service interaction, right? Okay, let me show you a quick demo of it. So before I move on to that, let me show you how do I register a service first, right? So this is the options window. So you have a general menu, you have a BOAS service and an internal callback, built-in callback and interact SSH. I have a use interact SSH for the demo purpose. So I have installed interact servers and the server is currently running. So once I click payload, I'll be getting a payload along with the canary token. So the canary token is the token. Once you have any interactions, you will receive in the response. So you can identify which payload has been triggered. So I will copy and paste the complete payload here. So this is the payload that ZAP has been generated for me. So I will go to the demo application and show you what happens. Before that, you can see here now interact is running. This is like green. I don't have BOAS server registered, so it is like gray, right? So this is a very vulnerable web application. So here the language parameter is vulnerable to external interaction. So I just paste the copied payload and see what happens. So I click next, and if you see that I got the canary token value here, but in the reverse order, right? So if I poll now, you get both the DNS and the get HTTP request, meaning that then external interaction has been identified, right? Yeah, this is a token, canary token that got, right? So these are the potential place for SSRF. So if you're running on an AWS or a GCP cloud, so you can exploit it by running internal metadata queries or whatnot. So this is a quick tip. So these are the indicator, as I mentioned earlier. The gray symbol denotes that service is not registered. The green one is registered and currently being hold. And if you see a flame symbol, it is used as part of the active system, meaning that you can integrate this as part of your active scan, meaning that any external interaction will be detected during your active scan will be flagged here. Right. The second thing is the automation framework. The automation framework is also the most powerful. So it's a replacement for the command line and the package scan option. It's more easy and flexible. Everything is controlled via a single YAML file. It's more customized. And it's a job based. So let me show you that. Before that, the quick tip is that it supports all type of authentication supported by ZAP. So if you want to know what are the type of authentication supported by ZAP, you can just go here and see. These are all the type of authentication currently supported by the automation framework as well. So what I go to the automation window. So I create a new plan. So I can choose any test site. So these are a lot of profiles, right? So I click a baseline profile where these are the jobs will be executed, the passive scan, spider attacks and all that. Let me click save. So you can see output what you will see the current status is nothing, no job has been started. So I can add a custom job everywhere. So I can select this, I can add a custom job. So I can add a spider again, I can add a passive scan, everything, right? And once I click here, I also have an option to add a custom test as well. So I can add a static test on fail what I should do. So if you go to passive scan and add a custom test, I can add alert test as well. So any vulnerability has been alerted, what is the name, what is the regex pattern, what should inform. So I can just run it. Once I started, you will see the spider is running, right? So, and you go to automation and see what are the list of jobs are currently running, and you see the output that what has currently has been progress. This is also one of the powerful features. Right. The next one is a WebSocket. This is also supported by an add-on. So you can intercept and the first WebSocket messages. You also set breakpoints on specific WebSocket. You can scan the WebSocket as well. And you also have a custom script for WebSocket. What I mean by custom script, you have a custom script for WebSocket to scan for cross-site website hijacking attack. This is the one I was mentioning about. Right. So here is a quick demo of WebSockets. So this is the automation framework. So this is a WebSocket. So I'm selecting the WebSocket. I'm going to website that support WebSockets. So there's a test site. There are a lot of WebSocket you will see here. So once it is connected, you will see that a lot of WebSocket messages are being processed here. Right. So I can choose a channel and you can see the initial request and response, the initial handshake that got happened. And yeah, you can edit and you can set an intercept, like you will intercept the HTTP request and do all the options here. Yes. All right. So bonus power-ups. So these are kind of quick power-ups for your effective testing used in ZAP. The first thing is the return.js. So this is used to detect vulnerable and outdated JavaScript libraries. You can see here it is included as part of the passive scan rule. So once you enable it, you can see that what are the dangerous JavaScript or any JavaScript libraries that are outdated. You can see here and take necessary action. This is a passive scan rule. It's like I don't need to it's not an attack. It's non-intrusive. Next thing is the Vaporizer. It is used to detect technologies used by the application. It uses a regex pattern. It can be enabled and disabled using the button here, and results also can be exported as CSV. So one classic scenario is that let's say your application uses log4j. Your Vaporizer, you can use this add-on to detect log4j and then use the active scan rule to scan for that vulnerability, right? So the combining of add-on makes it even more better. Next is the diff and comparer. You can always compare two requests and responses using this menu or using this add-on. This is currently in beta phase. Hope it will be tested and released soon. I mean, it will be moved to a released phase soon. The next thing is the encode decode hash. You also have a option to multiple ways to encode, decode, and hash a particular string. These are the various options supported. And yeah, another one is the generate CSRF test form. So let me show you a quick demo on that. This is used to generate. Let's see, you have a page, right? So this is a blog page where you can users are tend to add a blog, right? So what I do is I have captured that request. Let me try to quickly generate a CSRF anti-test form. So it is automatically generated form, right? So what I can do is like blog by ZAP. So if I submit, it is success, right? So quickly you can generate the CSRF test form. It is useful creating CSRF POCs. You want to see something cool? Yes, definitely. So ZAP HUD, this is also a very cool feature. So heads up display, meaning that all the features that you have got in ZAP UI, it will be like integrated in your browser, which avoids the switching between your ZAP UI and browser. It works in both desktop and daemon mode. It has got a lot of features. I recommend you to check it out. The next thing is like, is it possible to run ZAP without Java? Is the most question you people will tend to ask. Yes, that is possible using the Docker and the WebSwing technology. WebSwing is a kind of a server that allows you to run applets in the browser, right? So this is also the latest feature that got released, and I feel that this is the one of the best feature. So it is useful using diagnosing and avoiding installation overhead. Let's say you don't need to depend on Java version. You just need to run Docker, and then you can run Docker and just have a browser install, which will does the job, right? So if you see a quick overview here, I will show you demo of it. So see, I'm running the ZAP Docker locally. So I have mounted the present working directory, meaning that here will be the ZAP certificates will be mounted. So let me quickly fast forward it in order to directly take you how it will be. So here, once it's installed, I mean the ZAP Docker is running, you'll see the particular browser. I can browse to the particular path and see the ZAP is loading the browser window itself, right? So imagine this as a desktop or a GUI mode. You can open another browser profile, configure the as you normally configure your proxy settings, right? You can configure the certificate, import certificate, and once everything is done and once everything is set, you can capture all the requests and responses. Let's say, yeah, now it's like capture. So only with the help of browser, you will be able to use ZAP. This is a very cool feature, right? Conclusion. So you might ask question, is that all that ZAP has got? And the answer to is like definitely not. ZAP has much more. It has a lot more to discover and play with it. So this is the reaction. So you don't need to worry about. There are a lot of features inbuilt. There is a Docker. It is used for automation, CI/CD. You can talk for a long time. Right. So these are the reference and resources which effectively used to me during this presentation. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the time. Definitely, I hope this will have you attracted more towards ZAP. If you have any question, shoot out to me at Twitter and LinkedIn. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Gowtham. Everyone in the chat, in Discord, or in Hopin, give Gowtham a nice little thank you. We appreciate your time putting together all that content.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks
how did it go for you this year?
Yeah, it was great. It was super. I was super excited to be part of the ZAPCon again. Yeah, right.
Awesome.
So there was a lot of content I had to cover, and yeah, hopefully I thought,
yeah. So I was trying to cherry pick some questions, lots of questions. You ran through a lot of different technology. I think we left some people in the dust, so let's help them out a little bit. But lots of questions. I want to make sure we try to get through them. A couple of them about fuzzing. So one person said, my organization is all about wanting more fuzz testing. I'm pretty sure they don't know what that means. It just sounds trendy, so the requirement. You talked a lot about fuzzing. And fuzzing in ZAP is pretty manual today. It has a lot of options and configurations.
Yes.
It's a little tricky. Do you have any resources or material you can recommend on how to use the fuzzer in ZAP outside of what you just showed us right there?
At the moment, I don't have anything, but maybe I can find it from my readings and references, and I can share it one. Yeah.
Fair enough. Hey, that brings me to my next question, directly from Simon himself. Can Gowtham do some videos for ZAP?
Yes, why not?
Maybe a deep dive video on fuzzing would be a good one.
Yes, definitely. I will have to do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like
a couple other questions.
The more sorry to interrupt. It's like the more I tend to use ZAP, right, I discover a lot of features about it. So it's like every time I tend to use some feature, right, I tend to find it, okay, there is a lot more I have to find it and I have to discover. So it's like getting better and better. I definitely, yeah, that's one thing I definitely like about ZAP. It has a lot of features to cover. Yeah,
lot of features to cover. In fact, in last Friday's live stream, Hacking with ZAP, Hacking on ZAP live stream, I actually showed this picture of like a Swiss Army knife that was like this wide maybe, and it had every tool you could possibly imagine on it, but you don't know what most of them are until you need it.
Right.
That's how I think about ZAP is like, it's got everything you could possibly need. Maybe you just don't know it until you need it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's right.
Let's see. You showed something about authentication, an authentication plugin, and it said something about JSON-based plugin. Do you know if that's for OAuth and other types of JSON authentication? Do you know any details about that?
Yes, I think multiple authentication types are supported. So we can try that, but I haven't tried that particularly the JSON part for now. So I have tried the script and the form based one. So for the JSON part, I haven't tried. So I think I should give it a try as well. Yeah.
There you go. Even Gotham's learning today.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. There was a question about add-ons in the marketplace. And do you
Yeah.
know if they go through validation? And if so, is that validation automated or manual? I know Simon said they are.
Yes, I
Um,
think they are being validated is what to believe. Uh, because that it actually uses the ZAP core internals, right? So I think it should be validated, and definitely there should be a process behind it. Yeah, and there are different stages as well. I showed, right? So you don't directly, whenever an add-on is uploaded to marketplace, it's just not directly released. So it's like tested, and the three stages alpha, beta, and then only got it get released. So I think there are a lot of phases available to have a add-on getting released. Yeah.
awesome. I know. I think all those add-ons are part of the ZAP extensions repo, and those get looked at
Exactly.
and validated by the core team members. And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that's how that works. If I'm wrong, Simon in the Discord chat, correct me. But I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there an easy way to export ZAP settings made in the UI to YAML or JSON? I think that was a thing that came up right as you were talking about automation framework.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct. I think
go ahead.
Simon has already answered. The automation framework is the direction. So I think the automation framework is the way you can do it. So we can use the automation framework to create individual jobs, right? To have a customized settings. You can customize it much more with the options that you need, exactly what exactly it picks up. You can write an YAML file and what exactly is you can instruct what ZAP has to do. So that is like achieved via the automation framework.
Awesome. So Simon had mentioned in the chat that the automation framework is the way that's
Yeah.
going, the direction for the ZAP core team. I know doesn't have everything in it yet. It has most of the core capabilities of ZAP, and they continue to develop on it so that it becomes more and more
Yeah,
robust and covers more and more
correct.
features.
Exactly. I think I also feel that the automation framework is the the way forward, because you see a lot of tools. You provide a YAML file and it does everything, right? With a single YAML file you can do everything. So I think it's more customization and it's easy to write as well, right? So it will be it will be covered. Yeah.
Awesome. I know there was another question about top 10 plugins that are being used. And for those that don't know, ZAP rolled out some telemetry stuff, anonymous
Yeah.
telemetry, to understand
Correct.
how people are using ZAP and what
Using it.
people are using in ZAP. And some of that is helping the ZAP core team understand what plugins are getting used. There's some reports that
Yes. Yes.
Rice
I
Cott
think they're all.
posted.
Yeah.
And I think, let's see, did Rick post something too?
Yeah.
Somebody did.
Those statistics. Yeah.
King Thorin posted a link to a statistics
Statistics.
page about what marketplace add-ons are being used and how popular
Mm,
they are. Really,
right.
really great information going on about telemetry and what's being used and helping the ZAP core team drive the roadmap.
Yes.
Let's see. What's your favorite plugin from the marketplace? The
The
one that you
most
use
recent.
all the time.
The most recent one is the OAST, because that's the most awaited feature, right? So a lot of people, when the SSRF vulnerability was most famous, and everywhere you see SSRF, everybody wanted one such kind of the OAST kind of something. So I look out for that. That is one of the most feature I use that. And the other thing is the rules, right? The custom scripts. So you don't need to depend on one thing to be released. So you do have a template. All you need to do is just understand your requirement, modify the template as per your need, and just it will run. All that is need to do is bit of an understanding of what exactly your requirement is. All that uh, other than that, you don't need to do anything from the scratch. You don't need to how ZAP will work, what are those internals. Nothing. There is a template. Just take it and see how we can fit in your requirement, and then run it. It will do your job. Yeah. There is no such. There is not one particular thing, or one thing, or you say like top 10 or something like that, because in day to day I use everything, right? So based on the requirement, it depends on the requirement. Yeah.
Awesome. Gowtham, thank you so much. We're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today and putting together that content. Everybody, give Gowtham a thumbs up in the Discord chat. And thank you again.
Thanks a lot, Scott, and thank you everyone for attending the session. Hope you like it and discover more about ZAP. You will definitely love it. Thank you.